Hey there everyone, and welcome to the first video midweek update. Shockingly enough, it's a video actually released mostly on time. I'm sure quite a few of you didn't expect that. And as you can also tell by looking at the timeline down there, this one's also quite a bit shorter than the other videos have been lately. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get as much work done this past week as I would have liked. I had an unexpected influx of real-world responsibilities that I had to deal with, and this, combined with a massive influx of bugs and unexpected problems with the game's code and stuff, meant that I wasn't able to get as much work done on everything as I would have liked. I still have some neat stuff to show off today, though. We'll be taking a look at the new wall of the Shamrock's base, a couple of the bugs I fixed, and discussing plans for a brand new collectible that's coming soon. Let's hop right in. Starting off, this path along the mountainside has finally been completed. As I mentioned last week, Catboy will be able to choose to either climb up the outside of the mountain, or fight his way up through the interior. Although the Shamrock base is well defended from sphere friends who lack tools such as arms and legs in order to acrobatically assault it, the walls aren't quite as good at keeping Catboy out. Catboy actually has two options right now to begin the climb. He can either wall jump up the side of the ground level fortifications, or he can use a well-timed triple jump to immediately reach the reinforced rim and get straight to the cliffside. As these are both relatively, not really janky, but unexpected solutions, I'm probably going to add a more reasonable and traditional looking path sometime in the near future. Either way he chooses to do it, Catboy will then need to progress along the cliff face, eventually reaching an area where the Shamrocks took a little bit less care in the paving of their bricks. By using these uneven ridges, Catboy can ledge hang and continue to climb around the outside of the mountain. In order to make it all the way across, however, he needs to pass the cannon brigade the Shamrocks use to eliminate sphere friends fleeing their fortress. With some careful positioning and a couple well-timed dodges, Catboy is able to make it all the way across and reach one of the mutated vines. From here, he'll be able to continue climbing and progress higher up the fortress itself. I also plan on improving the way this looks from the ground level as well. Expect this next week. Right now some of the cannonballs are like flying through the ground and none of them really hit Catboy and there's not explosions, stuff like that. So I'm going to be making some major improvements on that front. Now, as I mentioned, there were also a number of bugs that needed to be fixed this past week, nearly all revolving around Catboy's ledge hanging mechanics. Being a dynamic system, there's naturally a lot of issues and sort of jank that I've needed to iron out with it. The main one was what you can see here. When approaching the end of a ledge, Catboy would begin to jitter back and forth rapidly. This was because he was constantly falling off and then re-grabbing the ledge, an issue that only arose because I made it easier for him to grab ledges in the first place. On that note, this is a change I forgot to mention back in Progress Update 8. Catboy can now grab ledges that are as far as 90 degrees to his side. He still can't grab them if they're all the way behind him, but it's a great improvement to the way he feels, as before he needed to be almost perfectly facing the ledge and right up against it to grab it. Another frustrating glitch was this ghost grab, as you can see here. Basically, if Catboy was close to a ledge but not quite close enough, he'd pause in midair and then fall. Not only did this look stupid, but it would give that frustrating feeling of the game cheating you out of a reasonable and actual ledge grab. Interestingly, this glitch only happened due to the fix for the jittering glitch that I just talked about a moment ago. The fix exposed a hole in the code where Catboy wasn't actually getting set to be pressed up against the ledge when he started ledge hanging. Once I figured out what was going on, it was actually a very easy fix. The last glitch we'll talk about, and probably the most frustrating fix of the three, is this little case of acrobatics you can see Catboy doing right here. What's the point in having a ledge hanging segment if Catboy can just walk through the air on top of it? The crux of this issue is that, back a couple weeks ago, I overhauled Catboy's slope sliding mechanics. In the past, he'd sort of slip off of edges he was half on, but I think I must have adjusted what counts as a slope, like the specific angle that he starts sliding at, and because I use a sphere cast in order to determine the slope of the ground beneath him, this basically meant that he could stand and hang off of ledges really easily. Not a problem until I started making this ledge hanging segment. In order to fix this, I basically made it so that he also checks if there's ground directly beneath him. If there's not, he'll start sliding, even if the sphere cast he uses tells him that the slope is flat, or at least at an angle that he can actually stand on. And voila! Catboy can no longer levitate by standing just barely off of the side of an edge. One more thing that I wasn't able to mention in Progress Update 8. You might have noticed earlier in the video that this pillar didn't obstruct the camera's view and simply faded out when the camera went through it. This is because I've implemented a partially transparent object system, where I can make certain objects fade out when the camera passes through them. I had to delay showing this off because the new shaders actually didn't work with the old PTO system I had set up. It's something about the way they handle transparency and fading and stuff like that. So I ended up needing to write an entirely new system to handle this. Obviously though I succeeded, and overall I hope that it should help the camera be substantially more cooperative than it is in other 3D platformers. Or really, come to think of it, 3D games in general. It's a big problem pretty much across the board. Finally, I'd like to discuss the brand new collectible I'm going to be adding soon. Costume coins. They'll be more hidden than most collectibles, including inside of level minigames and inside of the Fantabulous sublevels, but like other collectibles, they will award a pretty nice amount of sausage points. Their primary use, however, is, shockingly enough, for purchasing costumes. I'll go into more detail on the story of them and the in-depth mechanics of the costume coin system in a future video, but the core of it is that Catboy can give costume coins he finds throughout his adventure to Catgirl in exchange for cosmetic items. These cosmetics won't have any impact on his stats, but they'll just be, you know, cool looking things, maybe references to Lay Fantabulous game, just cool costumes, I don't know, I don't even know what I'm going to be adding yet, really. Additionally, completing certain achievements will reward Catboy with unique cosmetic items that carry between save files and playthroughs of the game, giving people who want to go above and beyond an additional collectible goal to shoot for. More on these systems soon. So, that's just about it for this midweek update. Much easier to digest everything when it's a little more bite-sized, right? Next on the agenda is going to be continuing development on the Fightyplace geometry and architecture. I can't promise that I'll have it all done by next week, but expect a lot more work to be done regardless. Depending on what happens, I may also get started on the inventory system, but no promises on that. That's very much up in the air. As always, you can check out the description for links to the blog, Discord, and any other development-related things that you might be interested in. And feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the midweek updates and other Fantabulous game news in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you all next week.